There has been a lot of talk in recent days about the future of Britain's nuclear deterrent, with debate raging between those who wish to abolish it and those who wish to upgrade our current arsenal. Unfortunately, these debates have demonstrated a fundamental lack of understanding by many involved of the purpose of nuclear weapons and their impacts their existence has upon national security. Nuclear deterrence is seen by many, particularly in Western Europe, as an ugly and outdated concept. Yet the concept of mutually assured destruction is not as mad as its acronym would suggest. Nuclear weapons, by their awesome power, actually prevent war. By maintaining a nuclear arsenal, a state effectively deters any major attacks upon its sovereignty by the implied damage that it could cause in retaliation. By such threats can more diplomatic solutions be found to resolve arguments between such powerful states. A popular analogy for nuclear weapons that is being used in their favour is that of a national insurance policy, that they should be maintained just in case the worst should happen, and Britain should need to wheel out the warheads to show the world our might. Yet this is not an entirely accurate description. Insurance policies exist to minimise the damage wrought in the event of catastrophe, or to offer some compensation afterwards. Nuclear weapons, by contrast, exist not to be cashed in at all. Indeed, they exist to prevent the worst from happening to begin with. For this is the odd truth behind nuclear weapons. They must be powerful, and you must be prepared to use them, in order that they never be used at all. A credible, powerful deterrent is maintained, so that no one will ever give you reason to use it. Thus we come to the debate ongoing in Britain. Abolishing our current arsenal of Trident nuclear missiles would remove this massive boon to our military and diplomatic credibility. Our small island nation and our overseas territories would no longer be protected by the spectre of ultimate force, and our diplomatic and military reach would suffer accordingly. The abolition of the nuclear deterrent would, in addition, necessitate an increase in spending on conventional forces. Even the most staunch pacifist would have to accept that other states in the world would not look so charitably upon a Western power abandoning its greatest asset, and would have to provide at least some additional funding to national defence at the lower levels. Nuclear weapons are a frightening force in the world. This cannot be denied. There have been many attempts since their inception to put the metaphorical genie of nuclear power back in the bottle, yet all have, unsurprisingly, failed. Once states gain nuclear weapons, it is in their best interests to keep them, so long as others do the same. The only effective way to remove nuclear weaponry from the international equation is unilaterally. Unfortunately for the United Kingdom, those advocating disarmament do not suggest such a stance. They simply advocate for the removal of our own. This leads to possibly the most insidious consequence of disarmament. By removing the independent nuclear deterrent that many generations of British leaders fought to create and maintain, the greatest level of diplomatic and military independence would be stripped away from the nation. In a world of nuclear weapons, to remove one's own deterrent is to be forced to seek protection from one of the remaining nuclear powers, of whom Britain only has one major choice, the USA. In recent years, Britain has already faced several unpleasant consequences of military closeness with the United States, and the removal of our nuclear weapons would only make our partnership less equal. The ultimate reason for the existence of government and states is to keep their citizens safe. To outsource the ultimate powers of protection to a foreign power would essentially be an admission by that state that it was no longer able to maintain its protective duties to its citizens. Ultimately, the debate over the continued existence of a British nuclear deterrent is based in a stereotypically British attitude that the current period of relative international peace will last indefinitely. Time and again throughout British history, Has military spending withered in periods of calm, and the people of the country been found accordingly unprepared for conflict when it arose? Let us not make the same mistakes as our ancestors, and accept that whilst spending money on upgrading the nuclear arsenal may seem unpalatable now, the costs will be more than outweighed by the peace and security that will be maintained by such an endeavour.